Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, it's Littlefinger, and today I'm doing a full tank review on the VK28.01. This is a German Tier 6 light tank. It's got some nice sharp angles to it. It's got a great motor and really gets around the battlefield, and really, in my opinion, the best light tank at Tier 6. So let's just take a quick look here at the characteristics of it. You can see this maneuverability is off the chart there. You're going to start out with a 75 L48 gun. Pen on it is a little bit low at 110, but it is certainly manageable at tier 6 and 7. So you can work your way up without having to use too much experience points. You're going to want to get the turret and then move on into the WOT 0725 gun, which has great penetration, best in class, and you're doing about 160 damage. It's got a little bit longer aim time, but it is extremely accurate. So if we drop down to the tech tree here, we're at the very bottom, and you've worked your way up through the Leopard to the VK28.01, this tank. You're going to keep going up this line to the SP1C, which is a light tank with absolutely no armor, and then onto the RU251, which is just a blast to drive, super fast. Again, no armor, but really fun gun. And then up to the Leopard PT and Leopard 1. And quite frankly, one of my favorite tanks to play. This really suits my play style. So if we look real quick at the setup, running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline, provisions, protective kit, chocolate, and improved fuel, ammunition, about 13 rounds of APCR. You don't need a lot. This tank's got good pen, but remember, buy your premium ammo with credits. Make sure it's on the shell price button there. As far as equipment, I do have all 9 slots unlocked. This is a tank that I really enjoy driving. I'll pull it out every once in a while just to have some fun. So let's run through these. Gun rammer, defense system, improved optics, and the one that I'm kind of in between on is this enhanced gun lane drive or the supercharge. Supercharge will get your shell velocity up over 1500. So if you're more of a sniper long distance, certainly go with this. But if you're like me, like to be in the middle of the action, I would go with the enhanced gun lane drive. And I really haven't tried it too much with the supercharge, and I think I'm going to, and I'll report back on that. Running with improved assembly just to get an additional 55 hit points. Again, as a light tank, our armor's not great, so 4% is not really adding a lot. Engine accelerator, obviously we're going to increase all of those, not just the traverse speed, so we'll get some additional horsepower out of this engine. Running the vertical stabilizer, again, this is going to help with your aim time, especially on the move. And running enhanced tracks and consumable delivery system. Alright guys, so here's blitzstars.com, and I've got the VK28.01 without any equipment on the left. Next to it is kind of the equipment setup I showed you outside of whether or not you use supercharge, and we'll talk about that in a second. And the rest of the tier 6 light tanks next to it. And real quick, you can just see we're a little bit below all of these in damage per minute, but our penetration numbers are much higher. So that is the main advantage of this tank, along with some nice armor. Now, if we get into the ELG, it'll drop your aim time down right in line of these other guns on the other tanks. But if we look at what supercharge does, we increase that shell velocity to 1521. That's enormous. That's certainly going to help with your pen and all of that. So I can certainly see a strong argument, depending on your play style, if that's what route you want to go with it. Just looking at some of these other numbers, dispersion is real good with this tank, but again, the aim time's a little bit longer. You've got -6 degrees of gun depression, top speed of 65 kilometers per hour, and our terrain resistance of 0.8 really makes this tank accelerate fast, climb hills. It's just a lot of fun to play. And then again, on the armor. You've got 60 mil on the hull, 50 on the turret. It's not a lot, but it's certainly a lot more than the rest of these light tanks. So here we are, first game, bottom tier, rock field, and they've got a few more heavies than us. So, you know, I'm thinking the chances of them going the kind of the medium direction is to right here is low. So I'm very aggressive and try to get up to a spot where I can, you know, do some spotting coming around the corner here. And obviously they have decided to go the other way around. Now, knowing that they've got a lot of heavies over there, I'm not going to run into a situation where, you know, I light up 3 or 4 of them and they turn and shoot at me all at one time. So I'm decided just to play this real cautiously and look for my shots to get points, shots in while I am not spotted. So since I wasn't being very effective in the spot, I did decide to move, and figured that shot there would light me up. So again, don't want to stay in a spot too long, especially in light tanks if you are spotted. As you can see here, that was a nice shot on the run. It's got great aim. Obviously he's turned his turret so that we've got shots into the side there. Now again, just playing it as cautiously as possible. Bounce that shot, and we do get spotted real quick. Aim for the hatch there and get that shot to go in. Instead of pulling around in front of 2 tanks, I see that the base cap's going up almost at 50, so I'm going to head that direction. A lot of our other teams gone that way. And that's the thing with this tank is you're going to be all over the place. You rarely sit still in it. So you can see here, we've gotten 2 kills, and we're going to go ahead and steal another one there. And it's a close game, 4-on-4 at this point in time. And you know, you don't want to face these guys head to head, so basically you want to look for routes that you can get behind them, beside them, and if you do end up in a situation where you think that like in that KV2 is going to be looking at me as I come around the corner, let's just relocate, use your speed. Don't make a dumb decision. You can see here I've got full hit points, and it's going to come in handy later in this game. So the ARL gets taken out there, and more worried about this SU at the moment. I can use my speed to get away from the heavy, but want to get rid of a TD as soon as possible. He does manage to slip away from me, but again, I'm going to use my speed and get round. Trying to help out my teammate there, but he doesn't need it. So lucky bounce there. So now it's 2-on-1. Just want to get this guy out, and that KV2 is obviously in base. And again, he could probably one-shot me with a nice placed HE roll. So I'm going to use what this tank is good for, my speed. So we'll speed it up here. And he obviously thinks that I'm down on the other side, until I get spotted there, obviously. And so at this point, we're just going to continue around and use these rocks to try to find out where he's gone to. And so, you know, I'm staying close to the rocks in case he pops up and he's looking at me. Then I can just hide behind the rocks. Obviously now he's not looking at me, and we bounce that first shot. He knows we're over here now because that's where the shot came from, but he still hasn't seen me. He actually disappears there for a second. So we're able to get 2 shots in. Still hasn't spotted us. And this is the great thing about light tanks. I mean, even on the move, you do have that camo. Finally, he spotted me. He's seeing me go this way, and it's about right here. I'm going to drop off. He drops off. Thinks I'm going around the side there, but I'm going to turn around and you know, just try to trick him. See, he's looking over there. Now he knows I'm over there. And at this point, you know, I've gotten 3 or 4 shots in without him even firing. Feeling a little bit cocky here, so gonna come in. We've got 45 seconds left in the game, and sure enough, we are behind him, and we're gonna be able to finish him off without him even taking a shot. So we end up with 5 kills, 2231 in damage, and that was good for a mastery badge. So that game really shows you the importance of mobility in this tank, relocating, and conserving hit points. And we did have some fairly accurate shots on the move there too. So here's another bottom tier game on Mirage. I'm gonna go work into the middle and see if we can't do some spotting. We have an advantage on heavies, and so obviously I think our guys want to go right, and I just want to get up here into this bush, not really even worry about taking any shots, just see if, you know, we can spot which way they're going. Sure enough, it looks like they're going right. Just want to make sure. They've got a bunch of TDs that they're also going right, and as soon as I get spotted, I'm gonna go ahead and move up into the middle on this map and put a little pressure on these guys here. See their TDs moving forward, which, you know, I don't understand. We've got more heavies, and yet they get completely steamrolled in this game, and so got them changing direction a little bit, coming after me in the middle. So I'm going to run, and then I see both of these TDs have shot, so I can go ahead and get across the front there. Now, I am running this game with the supercharge, so you know, didn't really notice too much of a difference. Still had difficulty penning a couple tanks from distance. But we've got this big ISU here, or SU-152 I should say. And I know the SU-100Y is over there on low health, so I want to go ahead and get that big gun out of the game. And you can see one of the nice things about this tank is its ability just to kind of circle these heavy, slower tanks. He's going to miss his shot. We'll finish him off. And this is about the part of the game that I'm not sure if I made the right decision. This IS with kind of full health. Obviously, he's going to be a little bit slower than some of these other tanks, but I saw him pushing on the Black Prince, and so figured I would try to go in and help. And you can see here we're doing a good job circling him, and eventually he's going to come over the ridge and is going to focus on that Black Prince. That shot bounced right there is disappointing because it really could have changed the game here. But we do manage to get rid of the IS before he can shoot us here. And a part of that is just changing direction. So now it's 3-on-2, but my guy is low health and he's pretty much cornered. You can see I've done a good job in mitigating damage. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to APCR, make sure we get that last shot on the M4, finish him off. So now it's a little bit more of a fair chance, I guess you'd say. But if I take a shot from the SU-152, it's pretty much game over for me. And so this might be the second bad decision I made on this game. Maybe I should have gone through the waterfalls and circled back around them. They probably thought I was headed this way. And then when the Cromwell gets spotted there, I'm thinking, okay, great, I can take on just the Cromwell. But really the SU's in front of him, so really wasn't sure what to do at this point. Probably should have gone for a track, but you can see here 750 damage from the shot and ram, 173 from the Cromwell finished me off. But again, you look at our heavies, they didn't do anything. So just one of those disappointing games. Alright, so now we're going to switch gears, go to top tier, and one of the things that I like about this tank is its play style. I mean, this is what one might consider out of control a little bit. You can see how fast I push up. Now, I primarily do this as top tier. I might not be so aggressive being bottom tier. But obviously your role as a light tank is to get spots. So I'm just kind of hanging back here, and I've got two guys out in front, two behind me here, so we're all moving around the map pretty quickly. So we've got a KV2 in town. No one really wants to go head to head with the KV2. We're just going to take a quick shot there. Nothing's going to go in, so nothing imminent around me. Go ahead and get that shot in. And now we're down a tank, as they have flanked around and taken out our heavy. So decide to try to flank back around. Again, we're always taking the long way, making sure we don't get spotted. Waiting for them to make a mistake. The MT has pushed hard into our guys, so we drop adrenaline here. He's focusing on the M4 there, and you can see we take our first bounce right there, and that's one of the things with this tank. Makes it really difficult to hit if you're moving. Gonna get some bounces here and there for sure. So as we're climbing this hill, we take a track shot. Again, no damage, but obviously there's somebody down there, or multiple tanks down there, so we're not gonna proceed back down that way. We'll again take the long way around. Looks like this Chaffee's gotten himself out here by himself. So we're going to see what we can do to try to pick him off. And so this is a lot of driving. This is a lot of moving. You're not stationary very often. And I guess that's kind of why I like this play style. It's active. So we finish him off. Now obviously we want to make sure we're staying under these dunes, not over the top of these dunes, so stay in the low point wherever possible. And here are these tanks that were kind of shooting at us down that dry riverbed area. So we're just going to work this ridge line and try to get some shots in. Now we've got them down to 3 tanks. Can be a little bit more aggressive and push in a little bit. Here's the PZ4. He had dropped off the map there. Must be. Thought he must have been AFK, but he's actually still moving. So, get him finished off. Just one tank left, and so you can see. I mean, we've been around this map about twice already. And we haven't even taken any damage yet. We're not going to, because I could have rammed into the back of him and maybe got that kill, but you know, figured I'd saved my health. We ended up with 1 kill. It was just over 2,000 in damage. Good for level 2 mastery badge. So last game in the VK28.01, and one of the things I want to point out, guys, is you can get yourself into trouble quickly with this tank, so beware of its speed, and make sure you're using that mini-map. And so I'm kind of taking a cautious approach here. Just, I didn't want to run straight out. So I come around this corner and see the T-21, and we get that first shot in on the move, and here they are. We've got 4 tanks now around us, and so yeah, I'm in a whole world of trouble right now. They're all aiming at the tank down there in the middle of the lake. But we've got this VK here, and I just did the review on it, and it's got a big gun. Does about 200 alpha damage, so we don't really want to mess around too much with it. Certainly don't want to trade shots with it anyway. And I'm just trying to, be cautious. And he gets another great shot into me there, 275. So I've taken 2 big shots, and so I decide that I'm going to push on the T-25. Hoping that VK kind of gets trapped in the middle here, because I've got some support behind me, and I can get over here and get behind the building, keep it between us, and I'm hoping that he can't pull out too far because of all those tanks down there to my right. Barely missed that shot, and my timing is just a hair off on all of these. Just missed that shot. You can see that VK has pulled back because of the support I had. So it's 4-on-4 at this point in time, and now that VK, for whatever reason, decides that he's going to rush on in. Not sure how he survived so long, but I'll finish him off. Now we're up 2 tanks. Things are looking a little bit better. Shoot through that hay bale and get the KV-1. He turns and looks at me, so I think about switching over to APCR, and this KV-2 is looking at me. Thankfully he's got the smaller gun, only does 359, but because he had the smaller gun, I didn't want to sit there and try to get 2 additional shots in there. Thought he might have been able to reload, so just gonna play it patiently, and again try to keep myself out of trouble. Not be too eager to get shots in. And you can see I'm just giving him a very small target to hit. Not sure why he's looking the other way, to be honest with you. He should be keeping that gun pointed towards me, because it's obviously much harder to pen from the front than the sides. So one more shot should do it if I can get a clean shot in. Trying to work my angles here, not give him too much of a shot, and we're able to get that last one in, which is a little bit easier when you're a faster, more mobile tank. You can kind of dictate the pace of play. So we do 2639 in damage, good for level 1, 3 kills, and we did all that spotting, and that's what this tank is made for, and to me why it is so much fun to play. So anyway, obviously the most OP light tank at the tier. And if you don't get yourself into trouble playing it too aggressive, you can really have some big games there. Just about all of those games I showed you were over 2k in damage, which is fairly easy to get about 12-13 shots in. Again, if you're not playing too aggressive. So hopefully you learned a few tricks there, guys, and enjoyed the review. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and stay safe out there. Remember, this is just a game, so have fun. And as always, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.